We are being joined by our final guest of the evening. He is Tom the Tank Gallicchio. Tom, unfortunately is coming off a decision loss to James Krause on the Tough finale, the Tough 25 finale. How are we feeling tonight, Tom? Are we back training already?
Yeah, I just got back into it. I'm feeling good. A little bit of a rough fight, but they haven't cut me yet, so it looks like I'm still going to stick around.
That's awesome. I definitely, it was one of the things actually me and my co-host for the night, Tom, were talking about, is that they definitely had to pick you up after that. You fell short on your first run on the Ultimate Fighter. This one you had a much another one where fall a little bit short, but amazing fight that you and Krause put on. I got to ask you, what was your thoughts on the differences between the first show and what you guys just got done shooting?
Well, I think it worked to my advantage. I didn't have to cut to 55 multiple times, so that's always nice. Not being the bigger guy definitely has a disadvantage at sometimes, but I think with this tournament style, it's better not to make multiple cuts.
So I guess given the opportunity, if you ever had to do it again, you would definitely not want to be attempting to fight at 155 pounds when you're doing that
You know what?
I
would do it again at 55. I think I'd be able to manage it a lot better now going through it. And knowing my body a little more, because I just started cutting to 55 around the time of that season. But I think I'd be able to manage it more at 5 now. And going against such big 70-pounders made me realize, what I really am a 55er.
I don't know. It's a good thing when you learn something about yourself when you do something like that. Not just that as a person, as a fighter. Ways you do things. I think it's one of the things that kind of gets lost in the shuffle when you guys are doing the shows is that you're not only there to compete for a contract, but you're also there to learn, to get better, and soak up as much information from the coaches that are brought in, and even your fellow teammates you have around you. You kind of agree with that assessment?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're all there to win. That's the bottom line. Especially you got some big money on the line. This time around, there was huge money. Jesse Taylor's living it up now.
Yeah. Dude, that has to be like outside of John Jones for the year, has to be the biggest comeback story that could have been possibly put on the plate here. I mean, he pretty much won his season, went out, got a little too rowdy, had too much fun, had the opportunity taken from him, and almost took him 10 years to get back. I think he almost had the number of fights he had from the time he left to the time he got back there was just insane. A story like that, you just have to really just tip your cap to the guy, man, because a lot of people having that type of thing happen to them, just kind of get overlooked would have probably quit. And as Jesse, he's not that type of dude. He just kept grinding, and it all worked out and played out for him. It's like I said, outside of Jones, it has to be the biggest comeback story of this year, my opinion.
I mean, if you take a look at Jesse, like out of everybody who got cut from Tough and didn't fight in the UFC at all, Jesse's fought the toughest guys out there that have not been in the UFC. I mean, he's got wins over Bustamante, Dennis Kang before these guys were on their way down. Jesse's just got some huge wins, and definitely the guy who's fought the toughest guys and has been the most active since being cut from Tough.
Hey, Tom, this is my name is Tom from the Pride Rules podcast. First of all, an old Elite Wrestling teammate of yours wanted me to say hello to you, Freddie Ponterero. You remember him?
Oh yeah. He used to beat me up back in the day.
Yeah, he's my teammate at Madama Jiu-Jitsu. I should be mad at you, man, because you beat my boy Eddie. What the hell, man?
I've been doing this a little longer than him.
No, he's going to be on our show tomorrow. I know he's got nothing but love for you, but I was so happy to see you get as far as you got, because it didn't work out so well for you the first time. What's the plans for you now, man? I know you said that the UFC hasn't, cut you yet, but what have they been talking to you? Have they been setting anything up for you yet?
Not setting anything up yet. Getting back to training first, and gonna get better. I want to get better and get a little more time on the mat before I get back in there. I don't want to rush to go right back in there. I just got done with Tough. I just got done with this fight. Now it's finally time to breathe.
I don't know how you guys do it on that show. Like we said to Eddie, I don't know how you guys do it. You have no contact with the outside world. You're stuck in the same house with people that you're going to fight. Somebody that you fought, maybe you lost to, and you're stuck there the whole rest of the time. I give you guys all the credit in the world because I don't think I would be able to do that.
Oh yeah, well, I got to see it both ends. I got eliminated early the first time, and the second time I fought till the end. So it's I got to see it both ends. If you're eliminated early, you get to a point where a week goes by, and you start talking to the guy you lost a little bit and getting to know him, but you also order whatever food you want, and you're able to have a beer or two. So it becomes more of a summer camp.
Now, maybe it's because I'm a little biased, but don't you think Eddie should have gotten the wild card to be able to have been put back in early?
We were told whoever had the put up the best fight.
Well, you guys' fight was amazing. I mean, that was a great fight. That was an awesome fight.
Fight.
Like I said, I'm biased. He's an extended.
No, absolutely. But that's what they do. That's what they did lay down in the beginning, and I thought, Joe and Hader had the closest match.
Well, it seemed to me like they were giving, I know he was your coach on the show, but they were seemed to be giving TJ everything he wanted.
Well, not really. Honestly, TJ only picked one or two matchups. Cody got the most choices with the matchups, and he picked most of the matchups for the semifinals, and the quarterfinals was all three of them.
What was that like with those two? Because, what we were seeing on TV every week was just TJ would just say one thing, and then Cody would just try and rip his throat out. Was it like that all the time?
Yeah, but there's always times where they were teammates for a little bit, standing there and filming. Things get wrong. You could see them relax a little bit and talk like old teammates a little bit. And then they'd be like, oh wait, we're supposed to hate each other.
So basically, it's the entire reality television production. That's why we're going to rip each other's throat out because it's going to make for good TV.
What you saw is what you got. But when you're together so long, you'll slip a little. You'll definitely slip a little being teammates. But there was no love between any of them.
So do you think what Connor had said was kind of right? TJ was kind of the snake in the teammate in the team for Uriah.
Well, honestly, I feel like we're just beating a dead horse with the snake, and it is so. They've had a whole season about it. I don't think TJ's a snake. Training partners lead the whole time. They definitely overshowed it in the show, and I think there's definitely better things to talk about.
Well, it's not every day you get to talk to somebody who's been on both sides of the coin with those guys. You know what I mean?
That is true. That is true. I have been. I like them both. I like Uriah and I like TJ. He didn't show me the most love during the show, calling me out every fight. So, but I really liked Cody when I was on Uriah's team. Me and him actually got along really well.
That was one of my favorite seasons, to be honest with you.
You liked that was a pretty good season. It was pretty good. It was solid.
Well, you know what it was? Because, like, Uriah and Connor, like, their banter was actually funny. You know what I mean? Like, Cody and TJ, like, there was nothing funny about that. It reminded me of, remember Making the Band on MTV? Where they would always fight for no reason. That's what this season reminded me of with those two. Cody and Uriah, it was funny banter, so it actually made for good television. This didn't make for good television whatsoever.
I mean, Connor's a character. How could you not find him funny?
I'm not a Connor fan.
He's funny, man. Like, just being around him and the things he say, he's actually really, really funny. He's a character.
So is it all for a show for the camera? Like, when the cameras are off, or is he like a really nice guy? Is it just a complete show for the camera?
He's definitely humble and respectful, and he said, gave me nothing but respect. So, they weren't going to fight each other too. So it became a point in the season where Connor and Uriah really liked each other and became friends, and the coaches were all hanging out in Vegas. I mean, because they're not going to fight each other, so it's like it's just a rivalry made.
Yeah, I thought one of the funnier scenes of where when they were getting Uriah on the phone out front, flexing and doing all the stuff in front of the mirror, in front of the two-way mirrors, was funny.
I think 25 was a better season now. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, the premise behind it, absolutely, because no one was really fighting for a contract. You guys were fighting for a big payday, which is one of the big things that a lot of people kind of feel that they don't really care for about the UFC is the pay scale. So, and not just that it was a redemption season. All you guys had an opportunity to get into the UFC, and either you were there and released, or you just fell short of making it there. It had more reasons to kind of resonate with that season than you probably had in any other one.
But
they focused. They focused so much on TJ and Cody that it honestly took away from you guys.
Yeah,
like,
but
100%.
There's a legit, but you have to remember there's a legit tension between them. So it's gonna, no matter, you feel like that's what they're concentrating on because that's what was going on. I don't think it was taking it away from them. It was just showing what was going on with them guys.
I don't know. It was just,
I think
it
became beating a dead horse about it too. But I think they could have showed some of the house stuff. We had a lot of funny things that really went on in the house.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Like they didn't focus on you guys as much. Like TJ would turn around and say, "Well, the sky is blue," and then the next thing you know, here comes Cody running across the room to try and take him out. Like it was just like too. It was too much. Like after a while, it just like, oh, here we go again. That's what it was with that season.
We did a lot of cool things too that they didn't show. And they could have really showed it. We had characters like Jesse. Jesse was always doing something funny. Julian was funny. Everybody was always doing something. I remember me, Joe, and Jesse getting into more things or bullshit to keep us busy.
Now, Tom, got a caller in queue here. You want to take a question from a fan?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. All right, Mr. Daniel, you are on the air with our final guest of the evening, Tom Gallicchio. Daniel, what you got for us, brother?
Hey, you watch your mouth, boy. I'm off the market now.
Oh, stop it. You and your girlfriend. I know you're off the market.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, what do you got for us, brother?
Okay. Yeah, Tom, I do have one question. What did it feel like to dress up with Uriah Fair and the team and mock Conor McGregor with his $2,000, $10,000 suit?
I'll tell you, that was a fun time. I think TJ was there too. Everybody was all there, and we had a blast that day. I still have my suit. I look like a used car salesman from the '80s. It was it was actually cool. We showed up. Johnny Nunez and Connor had the same pants, just different colors.
Did y'all really get it from the Goodwill?
Oh yeah, they took us to a thrift store. And they're like, all right, go ahead, have at it.
Okay. And third question, you train with Team Quest, right?
Yeah.
What's it like training with Dan Harrison? I love that guy.
I'll tell you what. Dan will hit you really hard and then tell you walked into it. Because, you came into it. And it hurts. Dan hurts. Dan still gets in there and hurts.
That's cool. And here's one thing I never knew. I thought his two front teeth was fake because I saw him on that show with Kevin James when he took out his teeth. I thought that was just for the show. Then it turns out in the picture he really does have false teeth. I didn't know.
It's probably from Dane Henderson punching him in the face.
No, Kevin hit him in the mouth, and all he did was take all his false teeth and smile.
Oh yeah, they're fake. I don't know how. Probably was riding a bull or something.
I know what I'm saying. I thought it was just for the show, but then I saw a picture of him cutting weight before he fought Bisping. Same time, I'm like, oh my god! I thought that was for the show. He really does have his false teeth.
You learn something new every day.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for your honesty. See you soon. All right, bye.
All right, man. That's literally our.
You guys are fancy over there.
Well, Daniel usually calls in sometimes twice a show. I'm surprised he only called in once for this one. I love Daniel.
He's one call in. I still like it. I like your style.
Yeah, Blog Talk is fun that way. We're allowed to have.
And you got commercials too. Look at you guys.
Well, I do.
Well, I'm just a guest on this.
But it's an easy way to break up it's an easy way to kind of break up the interviews because even when we pull the audio and put everything up on YouTube, that the volume spikes, so it's a real easy marker for us to pull that audio to put up on YouTube. That's one of the main reasons I do it the way I do it. It just makes it easier for us when we're breaking it all down.
See,
yeah,
he's
lucky.
Podcast with Joe Stevenson, and it's called the Tomcast 2.0, Joe, and it's video.
Yeah,
and we don't have.
I love Joe.
Joe's great. We still get together once a week and do our show.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's a grind, man.
Too, so plug it, man. Tell us more about it. Let us know where to listen to it, what time you guys are on.
2.0. Originally, it was the Tomcast, and I ran it. It was like a one-man show. I had an editing guy, so it was really a two-man show. But I would I turned my living room into Tom Sports Studios, and just started recording and putting it on YouTube, and started going out there. Then I kind of took a hiatus, did another episode, then took another hiatus. Had about like 9 or 10 episodes, and then after the show, I figured I was going to have some time to start doing it again, and I was telling Joe and Jesse, about it. Jesse was my second guest long before the season redemption. But yes, and I got him to come on as co-host, and Jesse flaked out on us a bunch of times. So it's me and Joe, and we do it, and he brought a camera crew and production team.
It's funny you say that.
Oh, you're doing it like that. You're doing it like that.
It's funny he said.
Oh yeah,
it's funny to
it's
me.
legit. I got waxed on one of the episodes.
It's funny to me that you say Jesse flaked on you a bunch of times. He was supposed to do the interview with me after the 2 weeks after he won the show. Made sure we set everything up. Call in, no answer. I was like, oh man, this guy. Because Daniel, the guy that just called in,
you gotta,
Daniel was dying to talk to him.
Guess.
But no, like
you gotta get a backup guest.
I'm not one of these guys that kind of holds it over these fighters' head like, oh, I'm never going to ask him again. F that guy. No, I know you guys are, man. Especially after what he just went through. It's understandable. I'll ask him again in a few months.
Hey, listen, if you do get him on, ask him about how his job as the co-host of the Tomcast is going.
I will. I'll remember. I'll remember that if we get Jesse on that. Tom wanted to know what happened to that co-host. Just disappeared. What happened?
Yeah,
well,
no.
Tom,
ask him. So hey, I hear you're a co-host of the Tomcast. How's that going?
Hey Tom, check your Facebook Messenger because I just sent you a message for you to come on to my show.
Sure, I got some time. I'm sure we can make it happen within the next few weeks.
Oh yeah, well, hey, look, I mean, we're all podcasters here now. It's a grind, man. Like, it's amazing. It's the toughest job that you have that you get no money for.
Oh, absolutely. You get likes. I don't know what the likes to dollar ratio is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like you said, you're doing the video with a camera crew every Friday. My co-host and I, Omar, we do a video cast through Google Hangouts on top of the podcast that we do on Monday nights. So it's a grind.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely a grind, but it's fun.
It's a grind. It became a little much being the one-man show and not really knowing audio-visual. That was a little too much for me. But, yeah, having people do it for me is great.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Yeah, because we're literally we have to do everything by ourselves. We have no one helping us.
But I'm sure you're pretty good at it. You got to be pretty good at it.
Well, you got great
sponsors.
sponsors.
Pretty good at it. I've been doing it for 30 years now. I better be pretty good at it.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean, you got these great sponsors. You got commercials in between, like. Our podcast is a straight hour and 45 minutes.
We don't even
No.
call
I'm talking about Steve. Steve's got his commercials like in between. We got one guest that comes on, and that guest stays on for an hour and 45 minutes. We don't break. It's just straight talk.
I mean, sometimes, don't get me wrong, there's some times where I'm doing interviews and I don't want to get off because the conversation is that good, you don't want to stop it. And then sometimes, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes you go on to the next guest and it's not the same energy. So, like, sometimes it worked out great. Sometimes it's just like, man, I wish we could have kept so-and-so on for another 15 minutes. And the hell with this guy. But it happened.
So, Tom, do you have anything you want me to say to Eddie tomorrow night when he's on our show? Anything funny you want me to pass along to him?
No, in fact, I just think Eddie's a cool cat. I can't talk any bad about Eddie. He's a great guy, and I'm.
Well, he thinks high of you.
Next time. What?
He thinks high of you. You know that night that episode aired. I love Eddie. That night that episode aired.
No, he's a real cool dude. He was. No, he was just awesome. Definitely. Somebody when I fought, I was definitely, a little nervous going in to fight him. I knew how much of a badass he was.
Isn't he the most positive person that you've ever met in your life? Like everything with him is positivity.
Joe's really positive too. I even try to shit on it too.
Well, Joe's positivity is different. I mean, you look at Joe's story. I mean, his positivity is a hell of a lot different. I mean, his Where Are They Now episode on UFC was just like, wow. Did you get to watch that at all?
No, he had a Where Are They Now?
Yeah, this was before he got onto the. This was way before he got onto the UFC. The tough thing, where he was talking about how his drinking really brought him down and stuff like that. Like it was a tough watch for anybody who was a fan of Joe. That was a tough watch. Yeah, so his story's amazing too. Yeah, dude, it's an old one.
It's
like one of the first two that they did.
I try to step on.
So wait, are
He's
you
hard.
guys at Cobra Kai? Is that what the deal is?
No, I just I go up and I'll train there once a week. Me and Joe became close after the show. So he helps me. Even when I was getting ready for Krause, he was calling me twice a day, checking up. We're gonna do this. Make sure you do this, do that. He was very invested in it. And we do our podcast.
I couldn't believe they had
makes us closer.
Yeah, I mean it was a shock to have seen him back on there. To be honest, I mean, you talk about a guy who's fought the elite of the elite. I mean, this is a guy who fought B.J. Penn at the height of B.J. Penn, for Christ's sake,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It was. We were shocked. I was hanging out with Jesse and Mehdi because we were all teammates. We saw Joe Stevenson walk in the casino. You're still trying to figure out who everybody is at the Palace Station. And we saw Joe, and we chatted with him, and we walked away. And then we're like, oh, I wonder what Joe's doing here. They must be having fights or something. Like, it didn't hit us. And then we walked away like, no, is he doing the show too? We just kind of assumed he was a little too big for the show.
I hope they give him a contract, too, just to have him come do a few more fights in the UFC, because obviously he's not done. He seems like he's still in great shape.
Yeah, I think he's gonna. If he doesn't get in there, he's gonna fight locally and get back in.
I hope he doesn't fight locally. They should put him in there. They should put him in there. Angela Magana still has a job. There's no reason why he shouldn't have a job.
No, absolutely. I agree with you on that.
I'm not a fan of that girl. I don't care. I don't care what people say. I mean, she's like 0-4 in the UFC and still has a job. It's amazing to me. But John Fitch.
Yeah, no, that is it's an impressive thing to do.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's
I don't
one of those
say
things
everybody
where
else's implications, but I don't want to say everybody else's implications as to why she still has a job, but she still has a job.
Well, hey, I just got in. I hope I'm still in. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't think everyone should worry about why other people have jobs. Sometimes it's more. Most of these fighters are just worrying about how they get their job.
Yeah, or how they keep it.
Yeah.
You have a loss. You're on the chopping block. So every phone call.
Yeah, but you made it to the finale. You made it to the finale. You deserve to have a job.
Like, look at last night. But look at last night. You had Caitlin Kerr, and she's like now 1-5 in the UFC, and had an amazing fight that probably could have gone the other way. So and then you put her in the same boat as like where Jessica Ai is, and people are like, oh well, how does Jessica Ai wind up being 1-5 and still keeps her contract? Well, that's because she the fights that she were in. The fights that she lost, people were just trying to lay on top of her instead of actually fighting her. One, and two, not everyone gets those opportunities where you can accrue that many losses and keep your job. So, people might be upset about it, but she's one of the more talented fighters, and also people tend to forget that she's not really a natural bantamweight. She's actually a flyweight, and hopefully with the new division open up, we can see kind of see a rebirth of her, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's performances too. Like idiots were saying that if Weidman lost to Kelvin Gastelum, he was going to get cut. He's not going to get cut because the fights that he lost were amazing fights. Those are fights he was winning.
Just idiots. I mean, what are they going to do? Give up a...
It's so bad. You know what I mean? Like, when they cut John Fitch, yeah, I was kind of upset, but I kind of got it because a lot of his fights were boring. So they're not going to keep a guy who's boring. They're going to keep a guy who's going to keep his nose to the grindstone, who's going to sit in the pocket, take a bunch of punishment, but still be able to take it to the third round. You know what I mean? They're going to take a guy like that. So there's no reason why I don't see you having a job in the UFC for, now and the years to come. 100%.
Well, we're going to work, and next one's going to be a better outcome. Absolutely.
Well, it's because you have that Jersey toughness. I don't care if you live in California. You're a Jersey boy. I didn't live that far from
absolutely.
Where you're from.
You can't take the Jersey out of you.
I'm from Woodbridge Township. I'm from Woodbridge Township. I didn't live that far from you. That's right.
I grew up in Avenel originally. First 5 years of my life.
Yeah, I was in Colonia, and then I was in Woodbridge, and I was in Perth Amboy, and then I lived down the shore.
Okay,
so.
I was born Perth Amboy. I consider myself a Howell boy, though.
I didn't live that far from you. I lived in Jackson, so there you go.
All right. Yep, Elite Wrestling. Yep, you knew Freddie. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he wanted me to say hello to you.
Now, as obviously we're like a good portion into overtime here, but as we're getting ready to wrap things up, Tom, what we typically do as we're ending the show here is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you would like to thank, training partners, teammates, shoot out your social media sites, any sponsors you might have or anything like that. The time is yours, my friend.
All right, let's go with my social media stuff. It's at Tom Gallicchio. TomGallicchio. Go ahead, give me a follow. Apparently I need followers and stuff, so that would be great if you guys could give me a follow. I want to thank MMA Lab for cryogenics and recovery. Who else? Via Advanced Sports Drink. And who else am I forgetting? Oh, yeah, CVAC in Temecula, hyperbaric chamber training. Well, it's like a hyperbaric chamber to the next level. So, yeah, I've been doing that and been recovering. And, that's about it. And follow me, buy that stuff I just talked about. And thank you for having me, guys.
Oh, it is definitely a pleasure, Tom. Looking forward to having you back on here again in the future, hopefully with some UFC fight news for your next fight. And really appreciate the time, man. Thank everyone for you guys' time. You don't have to give us your time, man. That is the one thing I love about MMA is the access to the athletes is 100 times better than it is in any other sport. No matter if we're talking about boxing, hockey, football, whatever. The access that fans have to you guys is what I think separates this sport from the others. Yes, they may be, MMA may not be a big four sport yet as far here in the United States, but at least in the opinions of fans, it's the best one because of that fact right there. So, really, Tom, we truly do appreciate your time and, wish you the best in the future. Hopefully you get some good news soon.
All right. Thank you for having me, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks, Tom. Check your Facebook, Tom. Check your Facebook.
I will. Bye, guys.